Hi there, good afternoon, how's it going? Today is Thursday, August 14th, 2025. Currently 94 degrees Fahrenheit, that is 34 degrees Celsius. A lovely, hot, but not crazy hot day here in Mendocino County, Northern California on Lake Mendocino. As I have discussed already, back in the area where I am from, where I was raised. In this video, I am going to tell you my top 10 favorite places in the world. Now, I've already made a previous video telling about my top 20 countries out of the 100 countries that I have visited in the past 35 years of international traveling. Now, as I've explained before, I have been to 97 United Nations member states, and to clarify, that includes Palestine and Vatican City, both of which have observer status at the UN, but are not full members. But because they are both admitted into the UN and have a representative, then I am considering them as part of the UN member states when it comes to counting my countries. So 97 UN countries, including Palestine, Vatican City, plus the disputed countries of Taiwan, Kosovo, and Northern Cyprus, to come to a total of 100 countries visited. Now, in that video talking about my 20 favorite countries, that was countries, not specific places. And so in this video, I'm going to tell you the 10 specific places that I have found to be the most phenomenal. Now, this is a tough one to narrow down. There are many dozens of places that could potentially be on this list, perhaps hundreds, but these are my top 10. Okay, somebody walking towards me, going to get past them and then continue the video. All right, so let's get right into it. So this is counting down from 10 to 1. Number 10 is the Marble Mountains of Northern California. The Marble Mountains are an obscure wilderness area a few hours north of here, where I would go backpacking with my family as a kid. So I don't remember the exact year that we would have went the first time, but somewhere around when I was the age of 7 or 8 or 9 or so, and so this would be roughly 1980-ish. So 45 years that I have been visiting this wilderness area. I'm not sure of exactly how many times now I've been there, but I can figure out exactly how many times I've been there as an adult. We went 3, 4, 5 times, something like that, when I was a kid, and then I went back as an adult in 1998 solo, and then again in 2012, so 98, 2012, and then every 4 years after that, so 2016, 2020, and then last year, 2024, I didn't go to the Marble Mountains, but I went to the Trinity Alps, which are close by. So the Marble Mountains is a mountainous area with lots of lakes in it, and so that is one of the things that makes it really phenomenal, is hiking from lake to lake. The lakes are stocked, so you can fish. When I went there in 1998, then I brought minimal food, but I brought a fishing pole and all the necessary fishing stuff, and caught fish. It is just really the ultimate wilderness experience, especially if you want to get away from crowds. Unlike other places such as Yosemite, the Sierra Nevada mountains in general, although even there, they're so big, you can get way back in there. And certainly the Sierra Nevada would be a top contender for best places in the world. More incredible dramatic scenery than the Marble Mountains, but I am picking the Marble Mountains because of my experiences going there over the past 45 years and memories with family, etc. So number 9. Now, I just realized that I made a little mistake. I already recorded number 9, a different place from the one that I'm going to talk about now, and then realized, no, I need to put it up a notch and bring this one down to number 9. And so in the next place that I mentioned, I will be calling it number 9, but that is actually number 8. So here we are at number 9. I was just there a week ago, Kauai, Hawaii. So I don't want to spend too much time on this one since I just made a bunch of videos there. We all know what Hawaii is about. Tropical paradise, beaches, surfing, jungle, waterfalls, hiking, high prices, cute little towns, the big city of Honolulu. Now, one thing that I want to say about Hawaii is that it is a tropical paradise that meets and even exceeds the hype. So there are lots of tropical paradise places around the world. You see the posters, and it looks like this absolute perfect paradise, and then you get there and there are all these issues, problems, things that you hadn't anticipated. I'll give an example. I went to Aruba and I found it to be kind of boring, very expensive. The wind every day that I went to the beach was so intense that I was getting sandblasted, and there just really wasn't all that much to see there. And the same with a lot of other tropical paradise places. You go there and the towns are really scruffy. There's a few nice beaches, but the rest of it just isn't that pretty. Maybe the people aren't as friendly as you would hope. And so a lot of tropical paradise places end up being a bit of a letdown, whereas Hawaii meets the hype. It is just exquisitely beautiful all over. Those ultimate beaches with the palm trees, and it is well taken care of in terms of the towns being not the most beautiful towns you've ever seen, but not, ugly either. Functional, but kept up well, good roads. It feels perfectly safe basically everywhere. Even Honolulu is a cool city. I would put it as one of the best cities in the United States. And so Hawaii in general is one of my favorite places, and then narrowing it down to my favorite Hawaiian island, it is Kauai, my first Hawaiian island, which I went to with my mom and brother back when I was 17 years old as a high school graduation gift that my mom organized and paid for. And then I went back 8 years later, 1997, as a solo adventure traveler backpacker, and spent 2 months in Hawaii, 1 week on the Big Island. That's a whole story. I was going to stay there longer. Decided to hop over to Kauai. Glad that I did. Had a whole series of amazing adventures there, including hiking out to the Kalalau Valley on the Nepali coast. And then I went back again in 1998, worked on the farm for 5 months, and then have been back many times since then, including for 8 days just last week, and I will be happy to go back yet again. All right, here we are. Next, number 8 that I'm calling number 9 accidentally, but I had to put this one next up on the list. The Tower. What is the Tower? The Tower is a 20-story structure that extends to the bottom of Lake Mendocino. It houses the floodgates that control the water releases from Lake Mendocino. Right there. So, people might be surprised that number 9 is Greece. In my top 20 countries videos, it was a series of 2 videos, then Greece was number 1. But Greece doesn't have the same sort of singular, absolutely phenomenal places as other countries. It certainly does have some absolutely amazing places. The Parthenon, of course, in Athens. Santorini Island is one of the most unique, strange, beautiful places in the world. Meteora monasteries in the interior of Greece are incredible. The old town of Mykonos is absolutely exquisitely beautiful. But when it comes to trying to pick my favorite place in Greece, because I want to narrow this down, then that's kind of a tough one. Now, Santorini is absolutely a strong contender because it is so unique. The views are just so mind-blowing, truly. It really kind of has everything. Nice beaches, not the best beaches, black sand beaches, and then ancient ruins, really cool old towns. The one big drawback of Santorini is that it is so dang popular, and so that really brings it down a notch or two. It is just jam-packed, especially these days, and of course with big crowds you get big prices, and so it is also quite expensive. So I'm not picking Santorini as my favorite place in Greece. Instead, I've decided to pick the Peloponnese Peninsula. I did a road trip there just a couple of months ago, and it really has everything without the crowds, and so that really makes it a more authentic, amazing experience of Greece when you can go to these phenomenal castles, epic beaches, so many ruins, cool towns. It has the whole range of things that you might want to see in Greece, and yet without the crowds and such a wide variety of different places and things to see and do. And so number 7. Now we are getting into the places that are really just undeniably the best places in the world. Certainly one of the most beautiful parts of the world is the Alps of Europe. And so zeroing in on that, I've chosen Zermatt, Switzerland, where the Matterhorn mountain is located. One of the just most incredible, phenomenal, surreal looking mountains. Just saw a deer up there. And look at all the poison oak. You gotta watch where you walk here. So I've been to Switzerland, I think maybe 4 times, and it is absolutely one of my favorite countries, included in my top 10 countries in my other video, even though it is crazy, crazy expensive, even beyond Santorini, or I would say even more expensive than Kauai, comparable in that range of the most expensive places in the world. But you get what you pay for, especially when it comes to Switzerland. Just one of the most beautiful places, and also it is just such an experience of being so clean, organized, safe, efficient, and beautiful everywhere you look. The mountain towns are just like straight out of a movie. Everything is in the right place. No random garbage or broken down cars or whatever. It is just like so well taken care of. And then you get into the Alps, some of the most beautiful mountains in the world. I would say number 2 most beautiful mountain range in the world. And it is just an experience of a lifetime. And so I've been to Zermatt once, and I would be more than happy to go back again. Nothing like hiking in those high mountains, just surrounded by those beautiful mountain peaks, breathing in that fresh, clean air, and then getting back to a cute little mountain town and eating some very good, expensive Swiss mountain food. Number 6 is in Italy. Italy is another country where it is tough to pick one specific place, but for me, it's actually not that tough. It is Matera. So Matera is a fairly little known place in kind of South Italy in the interior. It's a old city that was abandoned, completely neglected, and allowed to just go to hell, basically. It became a slum, essentially, of very poor people living there and not keeping it in good shape. And it was kind of considered a shame of Italy. And then somebody at some point went there and realized, wow, this is some phenomenal architecture and remains of history, and we should preserve this. And so I guess the people were just kicked out. I think there was a law made saying you can't live here because it's not safe. I think there were disease issues and just the lack of cleanliness and everything. And so people were moved out. And then over the course of, I think, decades, then they started restoring it. And it is now this old town that is just like nowhere else on earth. Vast, vast town of all old stone buildings. And then you can hike out of the town and go to these caves. I found very old, what looked like Byzantine era Christian murals inside these caves that were just way out in the middle of nowhere, not even like really on a trail or anything. And so it is just such a open air museum of various phases of Italian history, and definitely one of the most unique places in the world.